I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong.
These powerful words echoed across the nation in 1967, marking a pivotal moment in both sports history and the civil rights struggle.
Muhammad Ali, the heavyweight champion, defied the draft and the Vietnam War, standing firm for justice and humanity.
His decision ignited a movement that transcended the ring.
The 1960s were tumultuous. America was embroiled in the Vietnam War, a conflict that polarized the nation.
Young men were drafted to fight in a war they did not support, while protests erupted. The civil rights movement gained momentum, revealing stark inequalities faced by African Americans. Voices of dissent rose above the chaos, and one of the most powerful was Muhammad Ali.
Born Cassius Marcellus Clay in 1942, Ali faced racism from an early age in Louisville, Kentucky.
He found his calling in boxing, dazzling audiences with speed, agility, and charisma. By 22, he was the heavyweight champion.
But as the Vietnam War loomed, President Lyndon B. Johnson escalated U.S. involvement.
The draft became a moral conflict for Ali, who questioned why he should fight for a country that denied him basic rights. Inspired by leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., he felt compelled to stand against injustice.
In April 1967, Ali received his draft notice. Instead of complying, he declared, "This is my religion. I can't kill."
His words resonated with a generation questioning the fabric of American society.
The stakes were high. Would his courage cost him everything? Or could it inspire others to rise against oppression? The government's reaction was swift. Ali became a living testament to the struggle against injustice. The draft board labeled him a delinquent, but he faced society's demands with unwavering resolve. His fight resonated with countless others oppressed by discrimination and war. Ali's refusal to be drafted was part of a larger movement. Young men across the nation questioned why they should fight in a war that seemed unrelated to their lives. When he declared, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong.
No Viet Cong ever called me nigger," he articulated their frustrations, a rallying cry for the marginalized. The price of his stand was steep. Ali was stripped of his heavyweight title, faced fines, and possible imprisonment. The boxing world turned against him, but others hailed him as a hero, a beacon of hope in turbulent times. The legal battles that followed were fierce. In 1970, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld his right to refuse the draft, marking a significant shift in the public perception of civil rights. As protests erupted, Ali became a prominent figure in the anti-war movement, aligning himself with King and other activists. Together, they voiced the urgent need for systemic change in America. In 1968, as the nation mourned King's assassination, Ali's voice grew louder and more resolute, inspiring millions beyond boxing to fight for dignity and respect. Ali transformed from an athlete into a leader, illustrating how courage in adversity could ignite a movement. His stand against the draft was not merely a battle, it became a fight for the very soul of a nation yearning for equality and justice. Each step he took resonated in the hearts of those striving for a better tomorrow. Amidst the chaos of the Vietnam War, Ali emerged as a figure of immense moral fortitude. His famous statement encapsulated his beliefs and identity as a proud black Muslim against oppression. Critics vilified him, labeling him a coward, but he became an instant symbol of resistance for many. His struggles became the struggles of many, highlighting the hypocrisy in a society that promoted freedom while restricting the rights of its citizens. Ali's trials captured national attention, sparking essential discussions about morality, equality, and dissent. The courtroom became a battleground as he articulated his stance, his words imbued with a sense of purpose. The tide of public opinion began to shift. Ali's defiance ignited a movement that intertwined with the struggle for civil rights, rendering him a symbol of resistance. His noble stand served as a reminder that courage inspires change, fueling the fight for equality. Each challenge fortified his resolve, and Ali's story became a clarion call for those yearning for justice. As he stood defiantly against the tide, he transformed not only his own destiny but the destiny of a nation. Ali's legacy is etched not just in boxing history but in the pursuit of social justice and civil rights. His refusal to be drafted was a profound statement on human dignity, standing as a beacon of hope during turbulent times.
In a world grappling with racial inequality and injustice, Ali's message remains relevant. His declaration challenges each of us to question accepted narratives and confront oppression in our own lives. His influence endures, inspiring movements for racial justice and equality today. Reflecting on Muhammad Ali's legacy compels us to consider our roles in our communities. It urges us to stand up for what is right, echoing his challenge to confront adversity for the sake of our ideals. Ali taught that the fight for justice is for everyone who dares to speak truth to power. As we ponder Ali's impact, let it inspire our actions. His legacy invites us to reflect on how we confront injustice, urging us to embrace our roles as advocates for peace and equality. In a world filled with division, let us stand united in the pursuit of truth, drawing strength from Ali's remarkable journey. His spirit lives on in those who dare to confront the injustices of our time, reminding us that the call for justice is timeless. In the spring of 1967, when the streets were filled with both the fervor of protest and the fear of violence, Ali's defiance took center stage. The streets of cities like Chicago and Los Angeles resounded with chants for peace, echoing in the hearts of many who believed that war was not the answer to their struggles. Ali's stance against the draft shone like a beacon amidst the confusion and fear. He stood alone, yet so many felt his presence by their side, drawing strength from his convictions. In New York City, the rallies saw thousands gather in support of those like Ali, who refused to bow beneath the weight of tyranny. One cannot overlook the significance of the events of March 31, 1968. This date held particular weight in the hearts of Americans everywhere. It was on this day that Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic speech at the Riverside Church in New York City, where he openly condemned the Vietnam War. Standing in front of a congregation that included a multitude of races and backgrounds, King's words dripped with sorrow and urgency. He proclaimed, "A time comes when silence is betrayal." This moment was pivotal, intertwining the threads of the civil rights movement and the anti-war efforts into a tapestry of justice. Ali found himself inspired, realizing that he was not just boxing for human rights, he was fighting for the soul of humanity itself. As the anti-war movement gained momentum, the divide only deepened. Voices in opposition to the war were labeled traitors, yet Ali remained unyielding. His refusal to serve created ripples that reached far beyond the boxing ring. Young men, burdened by the draft, began to question their roles in a war fought under the banner of freedom. The anger and frustration that permeated the air led to protests that took place on college campuses across the nation. In 1968, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago became a focal point, where the clash between anti-war demonstrators and police erupted into chaos. The images of brutality were broadcast nationwide, and the faces of those protesting, many inspired by Ali's stance, became symbols of the fight against injustice. As the fallout from these protests occurred, Ali's life became a tapestry woven with threads of misfortune and triumph. He faced severe consequences. His boxing license was suspended, and he was barred from the ring. Stripped of his title, Ali's financial security was threatened. He was stripped of his heavyweight title and banned from boxing for nearly 4 years, and yet he stood defiantly, unwavering in his convictions. "I'm not going to Vietnam," he declared in a voice that resonated in the hearts of many. "I took an oath to God. I have to answer to my God and my own conscience." The repercussions of his refusal would lead him into a long and arduous battle, not just legally but morally. It was a test of character that would define his legacy. While many peers turned their backs, fearing for their careers, Ali's essence thrummed with the thunderous beat of courage. As he walked into the courtrooms, he looked at the judges and juries not just as authorities but as the instruments of history that would decide whether his stand would be vindicated or condemned. He understood that this battle transcended his own personal stakes, reaching into the hearts of those who felt shackled by oppression. Ali's fight in the courts illuminated broader societal tensions. His case reached the U.S. Supreme Court, where the justices deliberated on what it meant to be an American in times of conflict. His abject refusal to participate in a war that he deemed unjust resonated through the halls of justice. In 1971, the Supreme Court ruled in Ali's favor, citing that his religious beliefs and stance against the war were valid.
This decision marked a seismic shift, not just for Ali but for many young men across the nation who found their voices in his fight. The implications of the ruling rippled through the fabric of society, bringing newfound hope to the hearts of those who had long been silenced. But Ali's journey was not just about fighting a legal battle, it was about finding his identity amid the chaos of a nation fighting itself.
In a 1968 interview, he shared, "I don't have to be what you want me to be. I'm free to be who I want."
This declaration was more than just a personal mantra, it became a rallying cry for all those who felt marginalized, for every individual who had been forced to conform to societal norms. His journey was not solely about boxing, it was a profound exploration of personal freedom, identity, and the human spirit's unyielding desire for justice. As the years progressed, the intertwining of the civil rights movement with the anti-war sentiment grew stronger. Figures like King and Malcolm X inspired countless individuals to rise against the injustices of their time. Ali, once floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee, now became a lion resilient and fierce, vocalizing the hopes and dreams of a generation. The excerpts of speeches he delivered during this time echoed with a profound sense of urgency.
"I'm no different from any of you," he said, looking into the eyes of his supporters. "We all deserve to be free. We all deserve to live without fear."
His charisma and willingness to sacrifice everything for his beliefs galvanized many into action. The world was watching as he became a representation of what it meant to stand against oppression, to embody the very fight for existence that people of color faced daily.
The assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in April 1968 sent shockwaves through the nation.
The loss of such an iconic figure resonated deeply with Ali. He felt the weight of the moment. It was not simply King's death that left a void, but the loss of a beacon of hope. Ali stood at the crossroads of anger and resolve, his voice becoming a conduit for collective grief. In an interview shortly after the tragedy, he reflected, "We have lost a great man.
But we cannot lose his dream."
This sentiment became the nucleus of his resolve moving forward, igniting in him a fire that blazed even more intensely in the face of darkness. As the years passed, Ali continued to lend his voice to the fight for social justice. He participated in rallies, spoke out against injustice, and used his platform to elevate marginalized voices. Each appearance was not merely a public relations stunt, it was a heartfelt plea for unity. In 1970, he stated, "I have nothing to lose but my chains," resonating with those who found themselves shackled by society's oppressive structures. His words became a balm for the wounded, a message of encouragement for all who felt beaten down by systemic inequalities.
Even as the war in Vietnam waned, the struggles for civil rights did not cease. Ali's life became a testament to the indomitable spirit of perseverance.
His story transcended boxing, it became synonymous with the struggle for dignity and respect. From the streets of Louisville to the grandest stages of the world, Ali fought tirelessly not just in the ring, but also in the hearts of those who dared to dream. As he reclaimed his title in 1974 and regained his boxing license, Ali carried with him the weight of history. Each round he fought was filled with the echoes of those who had come before him, the spirits of those he had lost, and the dreams of those who looked to him for hope. The iconic rumble in the jungle in Zaire, where he faced George Foreman, wasn't just a fight, it became a metaphor for the struggle against oppression. With every punch, he sent a message: the spirit of the oppressed could not be vanquished. Muhammad Ali became more than an athlete, he became a herald of truth, a relentless advocate for justice. His legacy is etched not just in boxing history but in the